Hello and welcome to Wisdom Bites. Hope you're well. Thank you once again for joining us. Much appreciated. Now in this video, I'm going to cover Bitcoin mainly and look at exactly what's been happening with the Bitcoin price over the last few days since our last video, and look at the possible areas where Bitcoin can bounce back from in this current pullback that we're having. Now, if I have some time, I will try and cover a few of the altcoins, but if not, then I'll try and cover that in the next video. Now, before I begin, a quick reminder that this video is for educational purposes only and should not be taken as financial advice. I hope and I expect everyone to do their wider research before making any decisions to buy and sell. So with that out of the way, and without further ado, let's get cracking. In the last video, I showed you that 19,400 was actually a very good, possible and appropriate place for Bitcoin to have a pullback. And that was based on the candles of the previous all-time high in December 2017. The candles of the Bitcoin price came up to 19,400. And so that seemed like a very good likely scenario. It actually played out exactly to that. Obviously, it could have gone much higher, but that just seemed like a logical place. So the question now is we've topped out at the 19.4, 19.5 level. Currently, we're around the 16,700 level. Where does the Bitcoin price possibly going to bounce from? There are two possible scenarios I want you to look at. Okay, so we'll have a look at, firstly, start off with the overall bigger picture. This is our 4-year cycle chart. This is our target at $300,000 around December 2021. So we're about a year away from our target of $300,000. This is the parabolic channel that we've drawn, which we haven't obviously entered into yet. This box is the transition from the current channel that we're in to the parabolic channel. This channel is the corresponding channel from over there in 2016. And what we have to do is look at the two possible scenarios. Now, this part here is absolutely critical to what could possibly happen currently. And the reason for that is that we have in the last bull market from 2014 to 2018, this was the all-time high at 1177, around 1177. And as you can see, the price came all the way down here, and then it came to this point where the price for Bitcoin came and actually found resistance. The current bull market, obviously since 2018, that was the all-time high there at 20,000. This is the price action since then, and we've now just come to the same point here where we've come to the resistance and pulled back. However, if you look at the channels that we've drawn, the price broke this channel after this rejection that we got from the previous all-time high from 2014 to 2018. So the channel was broken after it broke from the previous all-time high over here. Currently, we haven't actually broken the all-time high at 20,000, but as you can see, the channel has been broken. Now, that's why there are now two possible scenarios. And the question is, at what point in this overall cycle are we at? Are we at the point where we're about to break the previous all-time high, like this one here, 1177 in the previous bull market and the 20,000 in the current bull market? Or have we broken this channel over here, which is basically the prelude to the blow off top very, very shortly in 6 or 7 months? So this is what we have to decide where we are, and that will determine what decisions we make. So let's have a look at closely exactly where these scenarios are. So let's zone in first of all at this point where we broke off from or got rejected from the previous all-time high. Okay, so this is the point. This pink line here, as I've just shown you, is the previous all-time high in November 2013, end of the previous bull market. That was the all-time high that was reached. And then the price went down and came back up again and retested it 3 years later. Now, so this is where the first scenario is. We've just come and had a parabolic rise up to this point here. So if you think this doesn't look like a parabolic rise, let me just show you that where this rise started was about here. And if you look at the percentage rise up to that point, back to the 1177 previous all-time high at that point in that previous bull market, that was 107% rise from the bottom of this channel here, the red bottom channel here. If you look at the comparison with that to the current bull market, or this current parabolic rise we've just had, from the bottom of this channel here, that was around 10,300, and to the pullback we've just had, that comes to about 90%. Very, very similar to that previous bull market. So the question is now that we've topped off here, we're on our way down, is this going to correspond with the same place that we had back here? So we've topped off here, and let's have a look at some of the comparisons. The actual fall from this point here down to the point where it bounced was around about 36–37% fall from the top. So if that's going to be the case with current pullback, then a 36–37% pullback from there would take us from that point to around the 12,400 level, 12,500. So it may not take us to the bottom of this channel, but please remember, nothing repeats with Bitcoin, but it does rhyme. So it may not be 36%, it could be 30% or 40%. And if it's 40%, that would take us all the way back down from this candle there. 40% would be to the bottom of the channel there at around about, where is it? 11,600. Now, it may not seem very possible at the moment, but I can assure you with Bitcoin, anything and everything is possible. And if you've been in the market for more than a year, you'll realize that is actually the case with Bitcoin. Anything and everything is possible. So this is the first scenario, that this is where we're at. We've just come to the previous all-time high at 20,000, and we're going to make our way with a correction of between 30 to 40,000 towards the bottom of this channel, because that's what it did over here when it came to the top of this all-time high, pink line there, and it came back to the bottom of the channel. Now, there are two things I want to show you at this point. When it got rejected, these are weekly candles, by the way. So it reached the top here around January 2017. Then within 7 days, the next weekly candle, we came to the bottom of this channel here. So within 7 days, we went from the top of the channel to the bottom. And if you have a look there, we never reached this point ever again. So if this is to repeat itself or be very similar currently, then we should be ready to buy and accumulate as soon as this second candle, within the next 7 days. If the candle comes back down to the bottom of this channel, we're going to get just a very short time opportunity, maybe a day, maybe a few hours even. So within a few days, maybe within a day or two or what have you, but a very short period of time, we're going to get an opportunity to buy and accumulate Bitcoin at this point before it bounces very strongly, and then we're off to the races there. And at this particular point, as you can see from the top of the market, this point was January 2017, and we topped off in December 2017, about 12 months later. And currently we are, and in our prediction for the top of the bull market to be at the end of next year, we are 12 months away. So this looks like a possible time that this is the place that we're at. However, I want to give you a second scenario because, as you know, with Bitcoin, anything and everything is possible, and we need to always consider the possibilities that we may not want or like or not even have thought of. And that is that we broke off from this channel a little bit further down the line. And then when we came back down, we didn't come back to the bottom of the channel. We came to the top of the channel here before bouncing off and continuing. The interesting thing here is that if we're at this point here, then we're only about 6 or 7 months away from the top of the market, which doesn't seem the more likely scenario. And the reason why I mentioned the breaking of this channel here is because currently that's what we did. We actually broke the channel, which we should have done really a little bit further down the line. But like I said, with Bitcoin, nothing repeats, but it does rhyme. So it does have a similarity, but this time it's broken the channel beforehand. But at the same time also, it's actually come to the pullback at the top of the previous all-time high. So it's done both all in one go rather than at two separate occasions. So the question we have to ask is this now going to come back? Is the price going to come back and come back to this channel here, back to around about the 15,000 level, and then bounce off? Or will we go through this and come back down? The interesting thing here is that if we draw the 21 weekly exponential moving average, and this is the average I always tend to use when I look at the prices to accumulate from with Bitcoin. And the interesting thing here is that when we came to the rejection at the all-time previous high, if you look closely here, let me get it a little bit more closer for you. The price came back when it reached the all-time previous high at 1177 or wherever. It came back and bounced from the 21 weekly EMA. And this 21 weekly EMA was just around the same point as the bottom of this red channel here. And then we went straight up after that, very, very quickly. So this is going to be a very quick, if it's to repeat itself, this is going to be a very quick move to the 21 weekly before bouncing off. If that is the case, so the question is, the 21 weekly moving average is currently at this point here around 12,800, around 12,800. Let me just draw the line for you so we know exactly where we're at. So horizontal line at the tip of the 21 weekly takes us to around about 12,800. So is that where we're going to actually bounce from, at the 21 weekly exponential moving average or at the top of this channel? Or are we going to come back down to the 21 weekly and even wick down to the bottom of this red channel? So these are the two scenarios we have. Either we're going to have a 35 to 40% correction back to the 21 weekly EMA, or we're going to bounce, because we've broken this channel here, are we going to come back and use that as a support before bouncing off? My own opinion, for what it's worth, I'm leaning more towards the fact that it's just come up to its all-time high here, as well as the all-time high over here. And it seems to be about a year before the parabolic rise in the previous bull market. And because it fits in with our overall 4-year cycle target of 300,000 at the end of next year, so this is about a year from there as well. So that's the second reason why. And finally, also, that coming up to this all-time high and getting resistance with a pullback that's underway, now, and having a similar rise up here and a similar rise up there, coming up to the all-time high, then it seems that the characteristics of this move up to the all-time high seems to be much greater than the breaking of this channel. So only time will tell. Anything and everything is possible. No one has a crystal ball. At the end of the day, it's one of these two possible scenarios, I think, is going to play out. So we'll just have to wait and see. I'm certainly going to be accumulating at the 21 weekly EMA, and I'm waiting for the price to come back down to around those levels there. And I'll be probably dollar cost averaging around that level. Okay, a quick look at the Ethereum chart, because the Ethereum chart really leads the other altcoins mostly, not all the time obviously, there are obviously differences between different altcoins, but the leader of the altcoins I always find tends to be Ethereum. So if we have a look at this, this is a chart that I've shown you a few times before, and I drew these two channels, the pink channel here back in January 2017, and the current channel that we're in, which is the two types of channels that correspond with each other on the Bitcoin chart as well. Very important for Ethereum is that, as you can see from this pink channel here, as soon as we broke out of this channel here, look at the parabolic rise that we got to the top of its all-time high around the 1430 mark in January 2018. Now, the corresponding channel here, currently as we've got going, we're really just moved to the top of that channel, and at 621, when it's just been rejected at the top of its all-time, not all-time high, but the top of this channel, as Bitcoin was being rejected at 19,500, Ethereum got rejected at the top of this channel here. But the interesting thing to note here is that once we break this channel, just like down here, once we break, I'm expecting a very quick move into this parabolic phase for Ethereum, and that's where it's going to go in the direction of the target that we've made in the past, in the previous videos, of 21,450. It may seem a very high figure, but the target is obviously based on the calculations we made in the past. I don't want to go into them now, but that's my target. But the main thing to remember is that when we break this channel here, we really don't want to be out of position when the Ethereum price breaks this pink line here, because that will be really the start of the parabolic rise for Ethereum towards its target of 21,450. So only time will tell, but let's wait and see. But please keep an eye on the channel which was corresponding to this one in 2017. We're in this current channel here, and we are going to break this very, very shortly, maybe in the next few days, maybe in the next few weeks even. But this is the thing to keep an eye on. Okay, so in conclusion, so we're very, very clear what I'm trying to say in this video is that there are two possible scenarios with Bitcoin, and I've shown you the two possible scenarios. The first one is that we've been rejected at the all-time high around 20,000, and now we're based with basically the two scenarios. The first one is that it's going to come back down with a 30 to 40% fall back towards the 21 weekly EMA before bouncing off. And remember, it looks like from previous history that this fall is going to be only giving us an opportunity for maybe a day or two before it bounces back up if the history is to repeat itself. So that's the first scenario, 30 to 40% fall towards the 21 weekly EMA. And the second scenario is that it's going to come to the top of this channel here and bounce off around about the 14,900, 15,000 levels and then go off. And the two signals that I'm really looking for is, apart from the 21 weekly EMA, where I'm thinking that the price is going to be being pulled back to that level like a magnet, but it's the weekly hash ribbon signal that I'm really looking for. So please don't take this as financial advice. This is what I'm doing. Please do your wider research before you make any decisions to buy and sell. Okay, so we'll wrap it up there. Thank you once again for watching. Much appreciated. Please remember, if you found value in this video, then do remember to like, subscribe, and to turn on the notification bell. Until the next time, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.